Poverty is not the absence of natural resources, financial resources, or human resources. It is the absence of leadership.
Okay.
I'll begin by saying that when greed, tribalism, ethnocracy, and nepotism encapsulate a group of people, no matter how rich they may be, they will never see the future. Africans that have had the heart to push the continent Africa to another dimension have been destroyed by Africans. Most of the fathers of independence had their nations at heart, and if they were given the opportunity to execute what they intended to do, it would have been very possible for Africa to have emerged ere long. As I talk to you recently, I would guarantee you all shorty that this guy Magufuli has convinced us against once more that Africa does not need any support out of the country. Lazarus Chakwera, in his 8-minute speech commemorating the death of Magufuli, he said, the unpredictable Magufuli. They did not know that leadership could run in Africa without money being borrowed from International Monetary Fund, because they did not know Magufuli was coming. They did not know that projects could be set up and executed on time, because they did not know Magufuli was coming. They did not know that somebody could not pay attention to General Assembly of the United Nations. They did not know Magufuli was coming. African presidents have given us the impression that you must borrow to succeed. Before Magufuli came to power, most of the mines in Tanzania were privatized. But what he did was that he came back and then sanctioned the foreign companies that were mining in Tanzania until 16% of those particular mines were given back as ownership back to Tanzania.
Na niliwaambia nimeanzisha vita hii ya kiuchumi. Vita ya kiuchumi ni mbaya sana. Ni mbaya. Wakubwa wale huwa hawafurahi. Kuna viongozi wengi tu mliona yaliyowapata, sababu nchi zao zilikuwa na mali, lakini wale wakubwa wakataka kuchezea hizo mali. Na kwa sasa hivi tumewaita waje wafanye mazungumzo, wamekubali, lakini wakichelewa nitafunga migodi yote. Ni mara 10 migodi hii tukaigawanye wa Tanzania, wachimbe wao wanauza, tunapata kodi, kuliko kuchimbwa na watu wanaojiita wawekezaji halafu hawalipi kodi na wanatupa dhuluma. Lakini inashangaza baadhi ya Watanzania wachache wasaliti wa maendeleo ya nchi hii, na kwa sababu wamepewa vipipi na visambusa, anakwenda hadharani kupinga juhudi hizi ambazo tunafanya kwa ajili ya Watanzania. Watu wale muwalani kwa nguvu zote, bila kujali vyama vyao. Wale ni maagenti wa mashetani, na ni aibu kubwa kuona utapeli huu unafanywa na watu ambao ni wakubwa. Ni dhambi kubwa na ni dharau kubwa kwa taifa la maskini kama Tanzania. Wananchi wake wanakosa madawa, wanakufa, wanakosa maji, wanakosa barabara, watu wanakufa kwa kipindupindu, wanakosa elimu bora, wanakosa umeme. Mali tuliyopewa na Mwenyezi Mungu inakuja kusombwa na watu bila kujali utu wa Tanzania.
A scenario occurred in Zambia. Zambia is the best producer of copper. You have the copper belt in Zambia. Zambia sold that copper belt to an American firm upfront without payment, that they will exploit the copper and pay them later. American firm came, took that particular copper belt, turned it within 2 years and paid the money upfront, and is giving Zambia a 0.00 something % as royalty for their mine. Was that colonialism? It is talking about stupidity and poor management. Who brought gun to give that copper belt to America? Nobody brought gun. When last did you see Europeans using prestation, assimilation, or indirect rule in Africa? It's no longer there. Let us consider the fact that they are taking a greater chunk of our resources. The balance we have here is very possible for us to manage those things. How can a man come in 5 years' time without borrowing a dime from International Monetary Fund, a dime from World Bank, he was able to restore 6 aircrafts into the Tanzania airline.
In Tanzania, where the government has vowed to improve air travel with the arrival of its new Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, President John Magufuli has reiterated his government's commitment to aviation expansion as the government took delivery of the aircraft. Now, the state-of-the-art plane becomes the fourth of 7 purchased by the administration in the past 3 years. CGTN's Daniel Kijo reports.
The much-awaited Boeing 787 Dreamliner has landed in Tanzania at the Julius Nyerere International Airport. The aircraft, which will be Air Tanzania's first wide-body aircraft, has been named Kilimanjaro Hapa Kazi 2, which is translated into English to mean Kilimanjaro here to work. Senior government officials were on hand for the event, as well as members of the diplomatic community and the private and public sectors. The government-owned airline Air Tanzania Corporation, ATCL, was struggling with just one small plane several years ago. That is something that the president promised to change when he came to power.
We said, no, this cannot happen. We must revive our airline corporation. And just like we promised, in just 2.5 years, we have succeeded in bringing ATCL back to life.
ATCL data shows that since the government delivered 4 Bombardier Q400s, its domestic market share has risen from 2.5% to 24%. Now the fleet of 4 planes flies to 12 Tanzania destinations from just 3 several years ago, while transporting more than 21,000 passengers monthly. The president credited Tanzanian citizens for making the purchase possible.
To be honest, it's your tax paying that helped the government buy these planes, back to back.
The government is to receive 2 more C-300 jetliners from the Canadian-based Bombardier Aerospace this November, with another Boeing 787 Dreamliner to be delivered in 2020. Daniel Kijo, CGTN, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
He was able to build bridges, build railway, restore back the Julius Nyerere hydroelectricity project that could give Tanzania 99% guarantee of electricity throughout the year, without borrowing a dime. China proposed to borrow him 10 billion to reconstruct and expand the port in Dar es Salaam. He refused, yet the port was under extension. Where did he get the money? That's what we are talking about.
During his first 5-year term, the man known as the bulldozer drew admirers and detractors in almost equal measure, both at home and abroad, thanks to an abrasive leadership style that included firing public officials on the spot or giving them dressing downs in public. In the short period he has been president, he has transformed the sleepy nation of Tanzania to be one of the fastest developing nations in the world. So, without further ado, let's take a look at some of Magufuli's achievements. In 2017, President Magufuli accused UK-based company Acacia Mining of illegal mining and ordered them to pay $193 billion for undervaluing Tanzania's gold exports. Magufuli said Acacia Mining must pay billions of shillings in loyalty and tax arrears arising from its activities since 1998 if it expected to continue operating in the country. That showed mining contracts in Tanzania had been poorly negotiated, allowing multinational mining companies to literally steal Tanzanian gold and diamonds. They paid $300 million in fines and gave Tanzanian government 16% ownership in the 3 mines. In September the same year, the Magufuli government took 70,000 carats worth of diamonds from the Williamson mine it jointly owned with Petra Diamonds, which was sold for more than $200 million. One of President Magufuli's famous quote is, "The best way to treat a boil is to squeeze it," and that's how he set out to fight corruption. Magufuli was the only president in Tanzania to go after corrupt officials from his own party, CCM. He was known to fire public officials on the spot or give them a dress down in public. The first thing Magufuli did was to audit all public servants on payroll. After the audit, more than 70,000 public servant employees were found to be ghost workers, or simply put, payment to people who don't physically exist. This was a system engineered by corrupt officials to be siphoning funds from the treasury. Magufuli also reduced salaries of top government officials from $20,000 a month to $7,000 a month. All public servants were exempted from paying tax on income. President Magufuli abolished their tax exemptions. He reduced the cabinet size from 30 to 19 and banned government officials from foreign trips. For 39 years, there was no airline operating in Tanzania that was owned by Tanzanians. President Magufuli decided to revive Air Tanzania, which had failed back in 1977 when the idea was first proposed. To do that, he needed to renovate and upgrade existing airports. Magufuli upgraded Julius Nyerere International Airport and constructed a world-class Terminal 3 at the airport. Then, the government purchased 8 planes, among them Africa's first Airbus A220 and a Boeing Dreamliner. The government also renovated and upgraded 3 other airports to international standards. Mwanza International Airport, Kilimanjaro International Airport, and Dodoma International Airport were all upgraded to international airports, all receiving international arrivals. The new airports boosted Tanzania's tourist numbers, positioning the country among the most visited country in Africa in 2019. To position Tanzania as a global logistics hub and raise the status of Dar es Salaam seaport and the planned mega seaport at Bagamoyo, President Magufuli conceptualized the Tanzanian SGR. The Tanzania Standard Gauge Railway is a railway system under construction linking the country to the neighboring countries of Rwanda and Uganda, and through these two to Burundi and the Democratic Republic of the Congo as part of East African Railway Master Plan. The SGR is meant to connect a market of more than 150 million Africans to the rest of the world through the port of Dar es Salaam. The project is also meant to create jobs and lower cost of transporting cargo in East Africa. President John Magufuli excelled in infrastructure and financial affairs. He invested heavily in infrastructural projects across the country with hope that improved infrastructure will boost the economy and expand it, which it did, because in a short period of 5 years that Magufuli was president, Tanzania moved from low-income economy to a middle-income economy. The Dar es Salaam city landscape today is very different from the time he took over. There are flyovers and interchanges crisscrossing the city. Public transport has also improved with introduction of rapid bus transport systems.
A man that came and gave free education to all government schools in Tanzania. Mr. Leo, 20,000 ghost workers were discovered. That's where our money is going to. That's not colonialism. He also arrested 14,000 unqualified workers in the government. Those 34,000 persons who were earning salary they did not merit is what was melting down the economy. It was not a colonial master. I think if we go down to most African countries, there are people who are earning salaries that do not exist in the government. Where is colonialism in all these things I have outlined? A man who said that education is free for girls, but the moment you become pregnant, your family will start paying fees. A nice way of fighting moral decadence. Who are we going to blame? Where did he get the money? He came and saw the hospital. President that goes down to the hospital. Beds were scattered, rotting. Patients were sleeping on the floor. He fired the entire medical staff and gave them 1 month to repair all the beds in Tanzania. And suddenly from nowhere, the beds were repaired in the space of 2 months.
taxes that would have gone to the health sector, taxes that would have gone to infrastructure, taxes that would have gone into agriculture. John Pombe Magufuli is a breath of fresh air. I know that there are some Tanzanians who may think that he's disrupting their agenda. John Pombe Magufuli disrupt their agenda. For if you come into a country and you find a patient suffering from cancer, you've got to subject them to chemotherapy. And when you administer chemotherapy, the hair will fall out a little. There will be some pain. That pain is necessary because there is no gain without pain. I'm not a Jewish prophet nor related to one. I'm not a member of CCM. But if John Pombe Magufuli continues on this trajectory and has a second term, in the next 10 years, Tanzania will be one of the largest economies in this country. God save John Pombe Magufuli. You know, I was reading a tweet and some American is saying, bring us John Pombe Magufuli. And I was in Kenya and I said at one time that we need to Magulify Kenya. In other words, there is a sense in which a new English word can be found, the Magufulification of Africa. In fact, I dare say that even my own paper, instead of calling it a call for hygiene in African politics, I would say the Magufulification of Africa. And I would still be right. But the whites say that one swallow does not make a summer. There are other good examples in Africa of the beginning of the introduction of political hygiene. Ian Khama in Botswana. Ian Khama in Botswana, it is said that a minister in his government went to him and said, I've been named in a scandal, Your Excellency, help me. He told him, there is nothing that I can do. The individual went to his rural home. The following day, it is reported that he had committed suicide. I'm not a sadist, nor do I intend to be one, but if there are such individuals, I want more suicides.
I'll give you a few analyses that will shock you. A country like Togo got independence from France under the leadership of Sylvanus Olympio. Olympio did not want the France CFA. Olympio created the Togo currency. But a man called Iyadema Nasingbe was used to eliminate, that is a Togolese, used to eliminate a Togolese that has Togo at heart. Iyadema Nasingbe killed Sylvanus Olympio. You go down to Burkina Faso, there is this guy called Maurice Yamiyogo. He was the one that gave them independence. He was annihilated. The person that came later after him, Thomas Sankara, in 1987, he was still eliminated by Blaise Compaoré. You come to Central African Republic, there's David Dacko. David Dacko was to change the nation in another dimension, but a man called Bokasawa used to eliminate him. You go down to Congo Brazzaville, there's this guy called Maron Ngouabi. Ngouabi also was eliminated through a coup d'etat. Now, if you go down to Guinea Equatorial here, there was this guy called Masias Ngema. It was his own cousin, Obiangema Basoko, that was used to eliminate him. You go down to Ghana, Osagie from Kwame Nkrumah had a good intention for the nation. It was Kotoko, his own clear neighbor, that eliminated him. You go to Nigeria, the guys of Nnamdi Azikiwe, they were eliminated by Paul close to them. Now, if you put it in a nutshell, you go to Mozambique, Samora Moise Machel, it was his close partner that eliminated him. The West, and I repeat, will never and ever have access to Africa until they use Africans. That's why I say what is eating the bean seed is within the bean seed. Africans are full with greed, full with ethnocracy, tribalism, and nepotism. And if nothing is done, we will keep on killing our best every year.